So this is part 2 of our Surron upgrades video, and in this video we will be transforming the entire rear end and geometry of our Surron with a completely different size rear wheel and tyre. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, make sure you go and watch that straight away because it's pretty good.
We're gonna unwrap these and give you our verdict, drop straight out. Get these old crusties in the bin, mate. Time to use. While he gets on with that, let's do the wheel swap.
The link's gonna be up here, so check that out right now. Otherwise, let's get straight into part 2. Let's go.
All right, we're ready to start taking the back wheel off. Let's get the back wheel swapped. Let's go. Yeah. Well, they hit us up, you know. They hit us up in the DMs. So yeah, Fast Ace, get at us. Feel free to sponsor us. Send us some more forks. We'll use them, send them, abuse them. Don't worry. Holler at us, Fast Ace. Thank you. That is a tight chain, mate. All right. Do you want to stick the front wheel in while I swap these bits over? Chaos. Right, so while we're doing the wheel swap, Yavor is kindly gonna, knock over the Surron. Almost destroy customer Surron. What is he like, mate? If you come, make sure he doesn't service your bike. Nah, I'm playing. Yavor's expert, but sometimes he needs us around to catch the Surron when he falls. Now, while we do the wheel swap, Yavor is going to put the front wheel in and just do a couple finishing touches. He's been zip tying some cables, neatening the whole bike up. It's small stuff, but it makes a big difference to the overall look. Anyway, while he gets on with that, let's do the wheel swap and we will talk about some differences as well while we're at it. So let's have a look. I think one thing everyone talks about, well, first thing, let's talk about the obvious thing. Look at the size of the tire. This thing is a monster. Compared to this is a Kenda Washougal tire. This is a Bridgestone Battlecross tire. Completely different tire profiles and sidewall thickness. Second obvious thing is rim size. This is a 16-inch rim, and this is the 19-inch rim. But I think one thing that a lot of people are curious about is they think that a 16-inch is going to be way smaller overall. So like the back end is going to be almost like a pit bike, or it's going to sit really low. But you can see here, if you compare them, because of the size of the tire, because you can put a much thicker, much taller sidewall tire, the actual overall height of the wheel is not very different from the stock 19. So you don't actually lose that much height. Obviously with a tire like this, you gain way more grip, and it'll be interesting to see how it feels as well, if we can get some feedback on that. I have a feeling it will ride really nicely. I know a lot of the guys who do jumps and stuff like that, they prefer the 16s. I think it's easier to whip the bike out. So I think performance-wise, it could be sick. Right, and all that's left for us to really do is switch over the disc and the sprocket. So we're gonna do that now. What song is that, Yavor? Careful, you know, because if you sing it that well, we'll get copyright strikes. Ain't people gonna think it's the real person?
Sing it again. You got my heart, got my mind. I think about you all the time.
Nah, YouTube algorithm, bro, please don't copyright strike us. It's your voice, not Kodak Black, you know?
It's not. Look, I'll show you. Got a wheel on the floor. Yeah, man.
You know what, to be fair, if we were gonna swap the Spokey Dokies over, we should have probably done it before.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut every single one of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut them all down, but you just measure one, stack them all up and cut them in one hit.
Oh, you're a smart man.
Obviously, come on, let's
Go ahead.
That's why we're at the bike shack. All right, let's just torque them down by hand. You know what, Park Tool, if you're out there watching this.
They're not, mate. Who Park Tool's watching your measly 100 subscriber channel?
Look, he's sending shots at us, mate. You know what, they're certainly not tuning in to watch you. All right,
yeah,
anyway,
whatever, man.
hit us up, mate. We might have to warranty a few of these. They're not as strong as you like to make out. Well, you know what? We don't even, it's not even like we wrench on these like mad, and we've already twisted a few of them. I think one of them, the head snapped, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, not giving much ratings for these.
They're very nice.
They are they look nice. You got all this fancy ball bearing spinner in, so you can use it like a fidget toy, but in terms of workshop use, not really cutting it, especially for the price. Even now, it feels like it's going to break in my hand. Formula One, yeah?
Flopping already.
You know what? Formula One, they run and gun.
Yeah, they don't even...
They just send it in. They don't even care. They throw away the bolts, put brand new ones in. I don't think we can really afford to run and gun like a Formula One team, but it would be nice. Chuck me a rag, please.
Oh, I just found one of your washers, O-rings that you wouldn't even care about. It's fine.
O-ring from what?
I'm quite sure they will say so.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's get this in the bike and see what it looks like. Hopefully the chain clears. It looks tight to the wheel, doesn't it? What do you reckon, guys at home? Is the chain gonna clear that? You're all saying no. I'm an optimist. I'm gonna say just about. If not, let's just rip the throttle until the edge of the tire burns off and there's clearance. Nah, I'm joking, mate. We're not actually gonna do that. All right, let's get it on. This is the top performance mod. This is the one thing coming from the old bike, or not the old bike, but the old wheel onto the new wheel.
You know what?
They can't go without. How dare you?
Bro, I just clocked it like the spooky donkeys and shit.
I mean, the customers requested that we transfer the spokey dokies,
Right.
so we've kind of got to do it.
And I kind of put the disc and the sprocket before I put the donkeys, huh?
I did say it. I did mention that. I was like, we should. I said we should probably put the spokey dokies on before we put the disc and sprocket on.
And then proceeded to just put him on my own seat, taking him off.
From what? Oh, do we have a spare one somewhere?
You have a spare lid?
Yeah, that is seriously wide. Right, there we go. We're in. Oh, we're not in. Don't worry about the kickstand for now, mate. We haven't even straightened the wheel out yet.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh!
That is insane.
You know what? I voted that the chain would clear. I think I might be right.
I think you might be right.
Oh, is that clearance or what? You know what? We'll just straighten out the wheel, so then it... Yeah, look, that will clear. Happy days.
Oh, it's gonna flex at some point.
Mate, it looks like a monster. I think, realistically, if we straighten the wheel out, it might touch. You know what? Let's set up the tension adjusters and we'll see. We'll go from there. Oh, Surron. This guy's going to be over the moon. I like how they put these, all right, not the most pretty, but they put a couple bits of foam on the side. See that? Smart thinking. Is there any play in the battery?
A little bit.
A little bit. It's pretty solid though, to be fair. Oh, that's a moment of truth. Oh, smooth. That battery repair was worthwhile.
Smooth.
So what you guys didn't see, which took ages, so we just cut it out. it was headache, but we needed to do quite a few behind the scenes repairs on this one as well. The battery connector was destroyed, so we put a brand new battery connector on there. Also, the panel for the controller had snapped, where the controller and the fuse mounts to. So we changed that, and there was also another mount behind that panel, and we changed that. So it's all running way better now. All right, and we are standing next to what is a finished project. We did obviously have the problem with the rubbing that you just saw. We have come up with a solution to it. It's not perfect. The wheel isn't exactly centered, but it is straight, it's running smooth, and it doesn't rub on the chain, most importantly. I think one of the reasons why we had that issue is because this tire, when we were looking for recommendations, a lot of people are running the 90, 100, 16 profile tires, but depending on what model you get, the tread widths are going to be different. This particular one is a Bridgestone Battlecross. It has quite a wide stud on the side of the tread, and that was just catching on the chain in a couple places. So we've trued the wheel slightly to dish it over, which helped, and we just messed about with the spacing and the setup. Now it's pretty much perfect. So again, something to think about if you do this conversion. You might run into some of those issues. Be careful with your tire choice as well. Another thing that's worth noting is these 16-inch rims are way wider than the stock 19-inch rims. So that's a massive plus, because you're going to have something that's stiffer and stronger, so more resistant to side flex, better for big impacts, but it also means the tire does sit a lot wider. So again, another issue when it comes to spacing, something to bear in mind. But overall, I think the width is a good thing because it looks sick. The tire is beefy. The thing looks absolutely solid. Personally, I think it's transformed the look of the bike. Like, looks way more just beefy and aggressive than the stock 19-inch tire. And like we were saying, it's not that much shorter either. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison in a second so you can see what this looks like standover height next to a stock Surron. But I think the overall look is absolutely beastly. Like, it's a monster now compared to stock Surron. I think it's going to tear up off-road. This is the first time I've seen it in person. Before this, we just did a bit of research online, so we had seen pictures and videos, but when you see it in person, honestly, transforms the look of your Surron. I think it is a must-have mod. Overall, if this is a mod you want to do, it's probably something you can achieve at home. If not, of course, you can always hit us up at the Bike Shack. We're happy to do it for you. But main difficulties, probably, I mean, we didn't show you, but fitting the tire, that was tough. These tires are way stiffer than the 19-inch tires, just because of the size of them as well. The swap of the chainring and the disc, that was super easy. And obviously installing it is the same process as a normal Surron wheel. So if you've done that before, you shouldn't have any trouble doing this at home. If you fancy it, give it a go. Like I said, it is a must-have mod now. Now I've seen it, we've given it a quick test. Like, it feels sick. Doesn't feel massively different. The balance point, if you're doing a wheelie, slightly changes, but it just is so much grippier. Kind of feels a bit more nimble turning left and right. And I'd really, to be honest, I'd be keen to try one over some jumps with a 16. I think it could feel way better on jumps, doing stuff like whips and scrubs. Yeah, highly recommended mod. Defo 16-inch conversion. 100% recommend it. Give it a try on your Surron. And moving on to our second key mod of this video is, of course, the forks. These Fast Ace forks that we installed, we're really pleased how they came out, to be honest with you. After initial tests, they feel really nice. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the 60-pound spring version. I think for my sort of weight, which is about 80 kilos, they are perfect. Still have a nice bit of small bump compliance. And then for the big hits, they soak up the big hits really well. You can feel a bit of progression in the springs. And one other cool bit about these forks is the adjustment settings actually do something. Unlike a lot of the stock Surron forks, which the adjustment settings do absolutely nothing. They might as well just be trinkets for show at this point. But on this, you really notice a difference. You turn up the rebound, you can feel the effect a lot. You can slow it right down, you can speed it up, get them dialed in exactly how you like it. And then they have a compression adjustment down at the bottom. It's not a huge difference throughout the range of compression, but if you click it all the way to one end or all the way to the other, you will feel the difference in between. So again, you can dial in the compression to how you like it. Most of that is going to be based on the spring. So whether you get the 60 pound, the 50 pound, the 35, That's going to be the biggest differences in between the fork models. But yeah, it's nice to be able to dial in the compression and the rebound settings to get this fork set up just how you want it. Especially if you're doing off-road riding, you want that level of grip, level of performance, get the bike dialed in to suit exactly how you need it. So let's talk about the weight of the forks. This bike previously had the old Russian space technology RST killer forks, which are trash. They've gone straight in the scrap. Oh no, they haven't. They've been placed here just to catch me slipping in this video. These are the RST, what we like to call Russian space technology killer forks. Named killer forks because they will kill you if you ride them for too long. Don't doubt that. What would I say about these? The stanchions are really thin. They are pretty lightweight, which you might think is a plus, but when you're riding these sort of bikes, which are 50 kg upwards, plus your body weight, you don't want to run a lightweight fork like this. It's not going to cut it, honestly. Whether that's a positive or a negative in your eyes, that's to be debated. These have added a good couple of kilos. I mean, the old hand scale, this is probably maybe 3 kilos worth of forks, whereas this is more like 6, so you've got double the weight. Personally, I think that's an upside in this scenario. You have a much beefier stanchion, something that's going to be more resistant to bends and flex. And I think, like I said, for this use case, the added weight is a bonus. Moving on from there, like I mentioned, the beefiness, the look. I think overall the look is way better. I mean, over these trashes, you can't really even compare. But just generally compared to the stock forks, this kind of beefy look suits the Surrons way better. I think it looks mean. I think it looks aggressive. Perhaps if you own these forks, it's up to you. You might want to take the decals off. I think they look pretty cool blacked out, but not terrible as they come from factory. Yeah, so overall, I think they've improved the look of the Surron massively. Performance improvement, weight has added, so maybe specs go down on weight, but again, I think that's an improvement overall. Another key factor I know you're probably wondering about is price. These are on the cheaper end of forks, so I think we're retailing these about $650 at time of filming. We can confirm that later. But a lot of the Surron guys, you guys at home will have seen, you probably fit Fox 40s, maybe Marzocchi bombers. If you're really spenny, you might get the EXT Ferro fork. All those forks, we're talking upwards of 13, 14, 1500 pounds, depending on where you buy them, whether they're new, used. A brand new pair of Fox 40s is going to cost you almost 2 grand. EXT Ferros, they're over. So these forks really at $650, I think is one of the best bang for your buck fork upgrades you can get for the Surron. Performance wise, we'll have to see how they do in the long run. But personally, I think for the money, you can't do better than this for a fork. Personally, I think for $650, you can't do much better than this for a fork upgrade for the Surron. So of course, if you do want to get yourself this bang for your buck upgrade, hit us up at the Bike Shack. We can supply and fit. And that brings me nicely onto the install part of this. The install was pretty straightforward. If you've done forks before, it's a similar process, just a bit more tricky because you've got the dual crowns. That gets a bit fiddly. And then as you saw earlier, we had to use a couple of specialist tools that you might not have at home, which was a crown race puller and a crown race setter. Other than that, it's just Allen keys. Pretty straightforward install. Obviously, we had to move over the brake caliper. We just had to transfer the front wheel. That didn't change at all. It's the same axle size. And we didn't change the headset. We just cleaned and re-greased it. So install was pretty straightforward. Took us about 20 minutes. So I'm going to answer another couple more questions that are burning in your mind about side-by-side comparison. Does it sit lower with the 16-inch wheel? Do these forks sit higher? We're going to grab a stock Surron now and show you a side-by-side comparison and get those questions answered. All right, here we have Surron number 2. Brought it in for the side-by-side comparison. So let's see what the differences are. I think one main difference, obvious one, is the size of the tire. Side by side, this tire looks honestly like your grandma's old bicycle tire compared. This thing is a beast. Like, really does look like a proper moto tire. Makes the bike look, yeah, ready for those tracks, ready for some beast jumps. It looks like a proper motocross bike now. We've got some special tools Don't know if we're gonna need them. Do the old eye test. Science. Let's get some science in here. Looks correct. No, but in all seriousness, tire width. Let's do a quick check of the tire width. So stock Surron tire, we're talking about 17, just over 17 mil wide. 17 mil, 170 mil wide, 17 centimeters. Compared to new tire, we're talking 100 mil wide. Look at that. So that's a big difference. That's a 3 centimeter gains. So come and take a look at this. Let's actually check them out side by side. And if I stand them up straight, there is almost, I think, 0 difference side by side height. I think what we should do is I think this one is a touch taller even, which is pretty wild. That might be down to suspension setup perhaps, but again, looking at the suspension, they've got a similar amount of preload. Obviously the travel is exactly the same, but yeah, this one with the 16-inch wheel is sitting a touch higher. We're probably talking millimeters, but yeah, why don't we get the tape measure on and measure up the 2 standover heights, and we will see exactly what it is. So I'm going to measure it from the back of the seat just to have 2 points that are the same. And here we have 85 centimeters, give or take. And let's check the upgrade. About 85 centimeters. So for those of you worrying that maybe changing to a 16-inch wheel might make the bike smaller or feel smaller, we're talking barely any difference. Less than a centimeter change in standover height, which is perfect, really. I think that's ideal result, to be honest with you. Now let's check the front end. This one comes with a KKE stock fork. So again, we'll try and measure it straight down up to the top of the crown. We're talking 97 centimeters or 96. Let's check the fast aces. Just over 96. About 96 and a half to the same point on the crown. So again, barely any difference in height compared to the stock ones. It's more about the performance and the other improvements that you're going to get, to be honest. So again, doing these 2 mods are not going to change drastically how your Surron looks. Right, well, looks way better, but rides and feels, it's going to feel quite similar. You're not going to have something that's too small at the back, too tall at the front. You're going to keep that consistent geometry that you guys are used to with the Surron, that you enjoy, that you like to shred. Can't ask for better than that, to be honest. It's time to wrap this one up. I think we can call this a success overall. Let us know if you think it is a success. Is this a big improvement on how it was before it came into us? Just to recap, we fitted the forks, we fitted the back wheel. It had a bit of an overhaul. There was a few service parts that needed doing. Headset clamp, plus a couple other bits. If you want to find out more, hit us up. Don't forget, if you're interested in the forks, if you're interested in doing a 16-inch wheel upgrade, we sell the forks, we fit them, we supply and fit the wheels, the tires, the tubes. Not only that, if you do have a Surron or a Talaria, we supply, fit and repair almost every part across the bike, from grips, brakes, we do Maguras, we do Hopes, we do tires, we do wheels, forks. If you want to upgrade parts, battery covers, carbon key covers, key replacements, motor replacements, controller replacements. If you need a new belt, upgraded belt, if your chain is broken, if your pulley wheel is broken, if you have a flat tire, oh my God, we have it. You know where to come. It's Bike Shack. Give us a shout, give us a DM, contact us any way that suits you. Details are in Contact us any way that suits you. Details will be down in the description below for how you can get in touch. Let us know what you thought of the video. Do you want to see more content like this? Is there anything else you want to see? Hit us up in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear it. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel for more content like this and plenty more bike related content, general shop related content, rides. We're going to have some awesome stuff coming over this year. So hit the subscribe, give us a like, share this with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.